So earlier today, one of the guys that I raid with in Guild that I do speedruns and Fusion with sent me a link and told me that the most recent updated build in the Classic era was showing that there was a WoW token being placed into the game, or modified. Now, as you can see, it says Mists, the Blizzard token of Mists, and I also started looking at some of these pictures. And as you can see, this has got like more of a retail-y vibe. Neither of them really have a panda vibe to them, but it's got like more of a modern look and then a classic look. Now, just looking at these two, you may just be thinking, okay, retail token and then MOP token. But something that just like kind of sticks out to me is this is the tried and true classic gold and blue. And what I mean by that is we could potentially be seeing a token in every version of the game. We're talking potentially even classic era. We're talking TBC upcoming in anniversary. And this could be the same token for Mists of Pandaria. Now, I just kept looking at some of these pictures, and obviously it's just the small versions and then a blown up pair of versions. And then obviously there is a small golden background for probably the purchaser's sake, just to visually be more enticing on a shop screen. Now, I started scouring through the actual code itself, and I'll be honest, I'm not a coder. I've messaged a few people on Discord. It's really late. It's 4 in the morning. It's 5 in the morning right now, and most, if not all of them, are sleeping. So what I continued to do is I looked at a few other things. Now, first up, what we have in these files are we have basically token-related assets. We have TOC files, which is table of content files, but these TOC files are Blizzard Token UI Mist.toc. So that is a table of contents for specifically the Mists of Pandaria token. But there's a few other kickers. There's the auction house WoW token frame, Lua, and XML. These files are specifically responsible for showing the WoW token inside the auction house. And if you've ever bought a token, you know that's how it's presented in the game in its own specific part of the auction house. Why would these files ever be put in a TBC store? See, the first token, or the first search was for token, and it showed a few files specifically. And what I did was look for TBC to see if exactly what we're looking at could be a TBC token. And the more I looked, the more I uncovered potentially about what we may be getting into Classic Anniversary. So first off, we see that there is the WoW Classic Clone category ID, and only appears as an exclusive category. So that means we're probably going to be getting Classic clones for Classic Era. And it also looks like just underneath, we have the WoW Classic Dark Portal Pass. Now, if you remember what the Dark Portal Pass was, that was the 58 character boost that came with the green gear, the riding skill, and the mount that created the whole debacle of why you can't spit on another player in Classic currently. And you may be thinking, well, that's not a token, Mincy. Why are we talking about? I decided to scroll down a little bit, and what do you know? In the TBC files, we have WoW token UI Lua. Why would you need to update the files for Mist of Pandaria when you've had the token for long enough that now that they've added in assets at the WoW token and the Dark Portal Pass will be coming to TBC? How did we get here? How did we get to this point in Classic? Well, it's very interesting because the guys over at Classic seem to think that GDKP was the reason that we had bots in RMT. GDKP was the reason people were just rampantly buying gold, thousands upon thousands of gold, to then buy BIS items in these GDKP runs, leading to people effectively accepting gold that was bought. Now, let's paint a picture. We get rid of the GDKPs, and RMT is more rampant and more out of hand. And the economy is just so far gone that logically, you as a player now are willing to accept that there is such a place for the token in Classic. This Dark Portal Pass was so controversial to a good chunk of the Classic player base. A good chunk of that Classic player base that doesn't actually play today, because you know what happened? They up and left. They weren't dealing with it anymore. But we've gotten to a point so far that we've wanted, there's a massive outcry in the community just for GDKPs to come back. Even whatever your stance is on them, RMT or not, what they bring to the game, it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, Blizzard has sold you the poison enough to the point. You drank the Kool-Aid so far and so much that now they're going to be able to sell you a WoW token, and you're going to thank them. You're so glad that they're saving the day. You don't have to do what my stupid ass has been doing and farming for 20 hours a week just so you can raid with your friends. Now, again, you could just not consume it all. But let's be real. Do you just want to live in a world where you're just completely, like, you're forced to have a slower raid? You're forced to have less fun in the game? No, of course not. And there's already been loads of ban waves happening recently. Since they're not going to let GDKPs back, guess what? That's why you guys have all been getting banned. That's why everyone's been going on 2-week vacations. This is nothing new. Look at this. Absolutely ridiculous. In my EU guild, like 4 people recently got banned for buying gold, and they just say, oh, I only bought a little bit of gold. You are part of the problem. If you don't understand that buying gold is actually what ends up ruining the whole economy in the first place, you're part of the problem. And sure, GDKPs weren't the fix, but guess what? It would make the bridge between the casual player, the person that does not want to farm for 10 to 20 hours a week just to survive, the person that just wants, that has a full bist out character and has nothing to do in the game. Although this is a shorter anniversary, like the anniversary is a shorter game time, there's no chance you're full bist. And if you are, like, you're probably a GM. Congrats. There's been underground GDKPs that have been happening. People have been running auctions through the auction house, hidden and completely disguised as normal bids. People have been doing Black Lotus DKPs. I'm sure you've seen this post right here where the Hungering Cold was bought for 387 Black Lotus. So it's not a GDKP, it's a BLDKP. And the raid now holds a pot of 586 Black Lotus. Even if this was, you know, staged as a picture, this definitely happens in Anniversary. I can tell you that. And I have confirmation, which of DMs that I can't leak, unfortunately, because I don't want to throw said person under the bus. But we have talked and we have pleaded with devs to figure out a solution, not add some crappy fucking token into the game. Bring back GDKP, try to patch things up, but it's so far gone, and they've got earmuffs on. They can't hear us anymore. They don't listen to us anymore. They look at Reddit, and I'm surprised that they do look at Reddit, because that would have been dealt with. Clearly, they don't care. But as I keep scrolling down, we see that the Dark Portal Pass is exclusive, so that means it's only going to be one again. That means one only. So that means one per account. You get one boost per account, just like it was in 2021, I believe, was the actual release of Classic TBC originally. Now, I'll leave links to all this down in the description below if you yourself want to go in and check out some of the bad news. If you're someone that actually likes Classic for Classic, but then again, was this actually the same version of Classic that we played in 19? No. We have boons. We don't have spell batching. There's a lot of things. But this Classic just doesn't feel Classic anymore. And it's kind of sad to see that we've drank the Kool-Aid long enough that now people are defending gold buying. I know how expensive Nax is. Trust me. I know how expensive Nax is. I have used 4 flasks this week. That's a lot of gold. In flasks alone, I have probably over 1,000 gold a week, and that's just on Warrior. You can imagine casters have a hard time as well. Flask cost is relatively expensive, but if you're not mage blooding, again, you're not feeling the mongoose pain. Mongoose is over 23 gold a pop on Night Slayer. Now, Dream Scythe is like 10 gold. I think Thunderstrike, last time I checked, it was like around 11 gold a pop. And Spine Shatter, Mongoose is 30 gold a pop. EU will always be a little bit more expensive because EU covers way more geographically as a player base than Northern American servers do. You're going to be getting clones. We'll probably get a 58 boost in the game. There's no confirmation that Paladins or Shamans are going to be able to be boosted. If we get a 2-week pre-patch, I suspect they may actually allow Paladins and Shamans to be boosted this time. If we get a 4-week pre-patch, I assume they're probably not going to allow Paladins and Shamans to get boosted, and they would just suggest you level. Although you're going to have plenty of time to get boosted if you sit AFK at work, because there are plenty of mage boosts happening. Specifically on Night Slayer, I could go right now and open up, and it's, again, 5 in the morning. And there's just loads of boosts. Loads of ZG boosts, SM boosts, Mara boosts, you name it. Sales all day long. There's never not an hour where this server isn't busy because of, you know, it's a mega server. Again, Blizzard hasn't outright officially confirmed anything yet, but when you see the UI textures, FX files, auction house scripts being updated, it's not just an accident. And those for wondering, yes, this could mean buying gold with real money is about to become sanctioned, officially sanctioned in Classic. Now, I get it. It was brought in Wrath, and it's one of the reasons why I stopped playing Wrath, because I myself was farming in Karazhan on a rogue to afford a Shadowmourne for my warrior, and then I decided to not buy the Shadowmourne and raid with my guild instead, and that was arguably one of the worst things that ended up happening, because we went on Christmas break, and I don't think I've ever been playing back with them since. I played one raid with them in Kata, and you guys, if you've been around the channel for a long time, you know who I've played with, and they were amazing to play with, but when I came back, the dynamics were different. Everything was different. So I decided, no, I'd rather not be in the area where farming gold means absolutely zero. I have to buy a token to compete and get consumes. Otherwise, just farming gold for a couple hours feels really bad. And it's frowned upon almost. And it feels like that we're getting that way in Anniversary right now. Where I've been in Dire Mall. I've been in SM for hours upon hours. And most people just tell me to go buy gold. Stop complaining. Just go buy gold. And that's the biggest bullshit I've ever fucking heard in my life. And it's obnoxious. Maybe one day Blizzard will listen to their players. Maybe one day Blizzard will actually decide to listen to their players. But until then, we're just going to keep getting fed as if they are the savior by bringing in the WoW token, by taking away GDKP. It fixed the bot problem. It fixed the RMT problem. I promise you, go into an AV right now on AV weekend, you're going to be finding a mage that's over here hard turning. Like I'm not even kidding you, like hard turning. I shit you not. It's the most obnoxious and obvious thing. People are botting AV this late in Classic Anniversary. And guess what? They're all mages. They're all mages. Because they're getting their rank 14 gear to boost your characters that you want for TBC, that you spend WoW token money on, that they can have, and then sell back. Because guess what? RMT's not going to go away, but it's only going to be legal if it's through Blizzard. Just remember that. At the end of the day, gold buying is bad, but if Big Daddy Activision takes care of you, it's all you ever needed. It's legal. Don't worry about it. They'll take care of it. They cut out the middleman. Goodbye, gold buyers and sketchy websites. Hello, legal gold. But what does that mean for Classic's economy? Inflation, pay to win, or just a way to combat bots? I don't know. I don't think any of that. We'll be keeping a close eye on future updates to the PTR, because something like this needs to be talked about. They haven't talked to us, by the way. This is something that we need to talk about here. Let's go to Wowhead and let's go to the news article. They haven't talked to us in over a month. The last time they truly actually talked to us for Classic Anniversary was 29 days ago to let us know Naxxramas was coming out. and that landfall content was being updated. Now, I know there's been a couple other posts to Mist specifically, but to Anniversary, this is the last bleep we heard from Blizzard 29 days ago. And then I get messaged something like this. You know, I thought TBC without GDKPs was going to be bad, but TBC with tokens. But one thing's for sure. Classic's not feeling so classic anymore. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. This was a little bit of like a rant, and I apologize. I have a lot of passion for this game. I grew up loving this game. And this feels like an absolute slap in the face. And you should... I don't know. Maybe you don't feel the same way. But for someone that actually like earned all his gold, did not buy gold one time in Classic Anniversary, and I nonstop here defending people buying gold all day long just so that they can afford to raid. Again, I'm just gonna end up ranting more, and I shouldn't, because at the end of the day, it's a game. Why you have to be mad? I hope this isn't real at all. I hope I found a weird link in the stores that technically they're using, but the fact that it's a TBC file doesn't give me any hope. The first thing that we see again is just WoW token is coming to TBC Anniversary. And I guess people will stop complaining that the consumable prices are too high, though, and buying gold from websites is unfair advantage because they'll just end up getting banned if they tried to. Well, now you won't get banned. Blizzard takes care of you. And they were there. This is their combat to bots and RMT. This is how Big Blizzard saves you. Till next time. Take care.